Alright, so I am going to show you now how to control everything in this little box here. So, if you want to turn on all the lights, if there's like a big moment where you want all the lights on, then you go and click all lights on, which is right here. You see? And it's going to turn all the lights on, and you can also control the color of all the lights. And then we're going to turn that off. Up here at the beginning of the show, you're going to want to click house lights off and then venue billboards. Venue billboards are obviously the billboards in the venue that like advertise a bunch of stuff. And then house lights are of course just the house lights. And then I'll turn all lights on again just for a second to show you something. Actually, never mind. So when there's a certain part where I tell you that you need to turn on the screen, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to click drop curtain up here. And voila, it's nice and pretty, I guess. But you can probably just start the show like this. No, you can start with the show with the curtain down. And then all of these things play different things on the screen. So there's stuff like that. And then there's also soap here. And you want to, the only time you want to use these screens is like in the beginning. If like we're letting me get dressed, then you can like play with the screens here and like have advertisements. And then you turn on the screen for whatever song is playing. So you're gonna want to, so let's say like we just started, we're gonna play intro / crybaby, and we're gonna click intro / crybaby. I have no clue why it's not playing. What the hecky? Hold on. Okay, yeah, so it's gonna play this song in the background right here. And you're gonna want to play the screen that matches it, and then you just always play the screen with whatever matches. So like Carousel, there's a song called Carousel. And now for like effects, you're gonna want to come over here and you are going to know what all of these say, you know? So stage FX, venue haze and stage haze have like that kind of like fog effect on the sides and not like on the stage, you know? But it's also going to leak on the stage where it just like would cover up the screen. So if you're playing like a performance where like you have to see the screen, then you're gonna want to not use that. And then light side fog, you understand what those do. Sippy cup pyro, it's gonna do like fireworks down there. Carousel pyro has fireworks up there. Soap bubbles is exactly what it sounds like. Pity party balloon drop just drops a bunch of balloons, which honestly don't ever use these. I mean, no, actually do use these, but only for pity party. Teacher's pet fire shoot, that is just like a quick fire. BOTL fire, it's gonna do a quick fire like that, and then it's gonna have some like patterns of fire like that, and then eventually, hold up, you'll see. Maybe. Yup, it's gonna do like curves like that. Evil fire is like if you ever have like an incredibly tense fire moment where like it has to, like let's say Mad Hatter, you can turn all lights on, like it's red, it's like super crazy, you know, in the moment. You're gonna want to click evil fire and it's like a super crazy thing, you know. And then womb confetti is the one I was thinking about. You never want to use this. Like, never use this ever in your life. Because you're not going to be able to see anything. So I'm going to wait for that to fade. Are my eyes closed? Yeah. So I'm just going to wait for that to fade. Excusez-moi. Fade. Please and thank you. Okay, and then you can like turn that off and it's gonna clean up. It's gonna stop any second, trust. Okay, so now womb Boston balloon drop. That does some fireworks and then it like drops balloons or whatever. Yeah, it's dropping balloons from up there. And then ending pyro is obviously for the ending and it's just gonna be like celebration. You know. And then you can always just turn it off. And then so when the show starts, let me show everything that you need to do. First, you need to get these all clicked. So you need to click all of these. And then never use any of these. They will be used automatically. Like, you never need to click any of those. And then, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click main lift down, which is going to be that lift right there, and it's going to go down. And there's actually a main lift spotlight. I'll explain the spotlights later. And then, you're going to want to remove pre-show. Really does nothing except for, like, cover up the instruments, which obviously you don't want when the show starts. And then, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to, what was I going to do? I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm going to be right there. Actually, don't do that main lift spotlight. And then you're going to, like, actually, no, do use it. And then you're going to raise this, like, right as the song is starting and the intro is ending. And I'm going to raise up, right? And then you always want to make sure that these seats are facing the front, except for a moment, which I'll show you later. Actually, I'll show you right now. So there's, like, a part during class fight, which is in the screen, you know, where there's a seesaw. You're going to want to click seats facing each other because obviously it's a seesaw. And they're going to, like, raise with the seesaw. But other than that, always keep the seats facing the front. These, you want to, like, lower them whenever, like, never click ribbons lift up. You want to lower them for show and tell because that's, like, her most famous song and it's, like, symbolic, you know? Everybody knows that. And then, now, the carousel cue, you're gonna click that and, what's gonna happen? Yeah, that's gonna lift up. Which, just do that, obviously, when, like, it's playing carousel. And then class fight cue, like I said, with the seesaw, that's when, like, the seesaw is gonna lift up. So, like, as soon as class fight starts and you turn on the screen, click that. And then all these are the backlift. You can obviously picture what each one does. They go higher and higher, each one. And then this one just lowers it all the way down. Now, for stage props, let me turn on all lights. No, that's too chaotic. Let me just, like, turn on the necessary ones. And then, like I said, I'll show you spotlights at the end because they're the most difficult. So Festival Platform, honestly don't know what it does. Oh, it's like, honestly never use this. I don't think there's a moment where you have to use this unless I'm like, actually, this would go nice right now. Like, add that, you know? And then carousel is very important. Obviously, when it's playing carousel, you want to click carousel. And you know, I showed you the video of the horse. That horse/bunny is going to come out. And you need to let me get on it before clicking carousel cue. And then pity party. For pity party, you want to open the prop doors, which is going to be right here. And that's going to open like those little doors right there. You're going to want to wait for them to open, and then click pity party. And all these pity party props are going to lift up. And then whenever you feel it's necessary, click candle flames on, and obviously the candle flames will go on. Show and tell is very fun. You're going to want to lower the lift before it starts, right? I'm sorry. It has like announcements in the chat, and I get so mad when the chat bubble thing happens. So you're going to want to click... I wasn't at Teacher's Pet. Okay, whatever. Show and tell. My bad. Teacher's Pet is later on. Show and tell is gonna lower these ribbons, which I'm gonna connect onto. And you have to wait until I'm on to like start playing with them. Nurse's office is very precise. And so it's gonna like have a camera above it, and I'll show you how to like enable those cameras later. But you're gonna want to make the bed tilt down, and then you're gonna move prop on stage. And this is obviously for when Nurse's Office song is playing. And there's like a camera up there, you see. And it's just gonna move on stage, and you're able to control like where it is. So, yeah, you would just do that, and then when it's over, you let it go back with, like, unenabling it. So I'm going to wait for that to go out. Lunchbox friends, honestly don't know what it does, because it's unnecessary most of the times. I see nothing different. I mean, just don't use that, I guess. It's unnecessary. Teacher's Pet. This one is the one I was saying is super fun. It's gonna be on the stage lift, on the main lift, you know. And it's a little desk that I'll sit on. You're gonna want to click main lift up when I say I'm ready and like the song is starting. And I'm gonna be sitting on the desk. And I'll sing like that. It does take a little while to disable though, because you need to get this down. You're going to need to tear this down, and then you're going to need to bring the main lift back up. Death. Unnecessary. It's just coffins. I mean, maybe for like Crybaby's death scene, you know? This one is some like mushrooms. They're really pretty. I honestly really like these ones. Light shower. Don't know what that does. And I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, it most definitely isn't. Hamburg. Slippery puddle. It's unnecessary. Don't use it. And then after the show, obviously just use it after the show. And then, so that is all for the stage props and these buttons. My bad. And then, so now for these buttons down here, important, yes, you're going to want to click side screens, and those are going to have like a camera that is actually up there. No, it's right, like it's somewhere in this box, and it's facing the thing. And, yeah, so that just turns on that. Main screen is gonna be unnecessary. Never use that, please. I don't want that. Seconds overlays is unnecessary. Don't ever use that. And then, camera positions. So that is like where the camera is. So main is like the stage, you know. Moss Man is that man right there holding the camera. And then scissor lift, yeah, it really doesn't do anything. Full 1, full 2, full zooming in is what it sounds like. Full zooming out is what it sounds like. Don't use that. 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 So, these camera subjects, you're gonna want to put it on me. And when I am on the stage, then, like, I'll show up on those screens. So let me go on the stage. But first, let me show you how they look right now. I know you just saw it, but let's look again. So that's how they look right now. But if I'm on the stage, then they're gonna lock on to me. And they're gonna be like that. So use that a lot, please. I really like that. Obviously, I showed you already how to go into the control room. Okay, so, yeah. Camera rotations, carousel brake is like that way, and then carousel brake 2 is that way, and then Mad Hatter 180 angle, honestly, don't ever use it. This just controls where the Moss Man is standing, and he moves very slow, so, whatever. I suggest, like, slight left, because that will be, like, somewhat a good middle. And then secondary camera subjects, don't use that, please. And then secondary camera positions, don't use that, please. And now it's time for the lights. Yay. Honestly, they suck. Backside spotlights are gonna be just the backside spotlights, back center, main lift, front. Back scissor are very necessary. Back ribbon lift washers, necessary. All these ones in this row are very necessary, especially this one for when I'm standing on the back lift. Front floor LEDs, do that whenever I'm on the main stage, please, because otherwise you can never see me. Back washers, only use, never, just don't use those, unless, like, you want to, and it feels right. Understage LED, honestly, I don't like it, but, like, maybe sometimes if you feel it's right, you know. Band washers are just those. Zigzag washers are super necessary sometimes, because they make a nice pattern on the roof. Side washers are, like, necessary often. Side LEDs are gonna be, like, up on those walls. Zigzag LEDs are, like, they just are up there. Band LEDs are just right there. Yeah, and then band LEDs, the other ones. These ones are super nice. Like, you want to use these a lot. I love these guys right here. They're my best friends. So, if you want to put, like, this on and then this on together, that looks good. And then these right here love those so much, but can never find a moment where they're good to use. So those are the lights, and that's everything. So, like, when I go from this K through 12 to this portals, then you're gonna want to switch the band members to the portals band members, because they, like, have different outfits, you know? So that is everything. And so if we were to start the tour, then this is what I expect you to do. I expect you to have, like, this, you know, and then obviously the house lights and the venue billboards would be on. And, like, use these, like, stupid ones, the useless ones, you know. And then when the show would start, then we can turn all the house lights off. And then, oh yeah, over here is crowd scream. Oh yes, this is really important too. You want to put the spotlights on me. So, like, if I were to turn on a spotlight, I must be on stage for that to work, but it would just put the spotlights on me, you know, anything that says spotlight in the name. So as I was saying, yeah, the house lights are off, and then you're going to want to click intro/crybaby, and you're going to want to click this, and then start intro/crybaby. Main lift down so that I can get onto it. So we're just gonna wait for that cutscene to be finished, you know? So yeah, this is the type of thing you would do. Yeah, all lights should already be off. And then if you want to, like, play with these, you can, like, you know. And then main lift is gonna go up. And I'll be on it. The back screen is already how it's supposed to be. You can play with the lights, do whatever you like. You know, front floor LED should obviously be on. Like I said, it should be on anytime I'm on that main stage. Obviously, you should have some spotlights on me. And that would be basically it. And then the tour would be started. But first, you do need to, like, click all the songs in order of, like, the order they're already in. And yeah, and then the tour would be started. So that is everything you need to do when we play, hopefully later. And please memorize these controls and stuff. Like I said, like, these lights will already be on. If I ever say blackout, you can click all lights off, but some might still be on. So you can just, like, click all lights off here too. And then, of course, turn off the screen. So that is everything. obviously turn these off. So I'm showing you right now, like, how to just unassemble the show, which would be done now because there's nothing else on. So that's how you control the lights. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. And this video is directed to my friend and not anybody else watching.